All right, can everyone hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thanks. All right, so if you log into your portal and go to skill set 3, successfully scheduling the consultation, you will find the Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm written process for working with buyers. And you would click here and it would open the process. So the first thing that you need to do is open this up and then get all your documents together. So I'm going to go through all the documents needed to prepare for the phone call and then to schedule the initial buyer consultation. So you're going to need the pre-qualification questions and script for buyers. So you're going to start with this script to pre-qualify your buyer. Hi, thanks for taking my call. This is Dion Collier with Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. My job is to reach out to the customers so we can assess your situation and see how the firm can best serve you. Do you have a couple of minutes for us to go through your real estate needs? So you start by answering these questions. Get their full name and email address. Ask if they're working with a real estate professional. Are they looking to buy, rent, land, or a home, a multifamily? You can get those details. Where are you in the process? What type of work do you do, to find out what industry they're in? Asking this question, if there's a home buying program that they qualify for, then you'll know how to direct your buyer consultation when you do get to that appointment. How long have you been doing that? What made you get into this field? Do you love it? What did you love or hate about it? And what are you going to do when you retire? Because the whole goal is to understand the person's lifestyle. It's like a lifestyle questionnaire. You get to know your client or potential client, and you're building that rapport with them. And then you're going to find out, is this purchase just for you? Or are you married with kids? Sometimes you'll find out if there's going to be a co-borrower. And if there's going to be a co-borrower, they should be in on the buyer consultation as well. Then you get to know more about their family and their family needs. How long, concerning your real estate needs, how long have they been looking? How soon are you looking to move? How much are you want to spend per month? And how much money did you save up for a down payment and closing costs? And then when you do have your buyer consultation with them, you can go in more in detail about the different down payment options and the closing costs. But these questions will help you understand where they are and their knowledge of buying a home. Number 5, when is the last time you looked at your credit score? Do you have an idea of what your credit score is? Sometimes I suggest that if they have a bank account, sometimes their bank, Chase, Wells Fargo, they'll have where they'll show their members what their credit score is. Some people look at Credit Karma, and sometimes if they do use Credit Karma, some of the lenders have told me just take 38 points, to deduct 38 points, and that's kind of like what their score is, but that can vary. If you're not a credit specialist and you're not a lender, then you don't have to go through detail, but you can just see if they know their credit score. Have they spoken with a bank or mortgage company about their financing? And have you worked with a realtor in the past? And if so, how was that experience? And would you like to work with a realtor? So some people in the past have had bad experiences working with realtors or a particular realtor, and you got to find out what their concerns are, what their expectations are. If they did have a bad experience, what happened, and how you as an agent is going to exceed their expectations and definitely provide professional service. Number 8, what are some of the things that you like to do when you're not working? So as again, you're building that rapport. You're using the Ford method, the family, occupation, recreation, and dreams to build that rapport with that potential client. Because right now they're considered a customer. And then based on their situation, they will go on to one of these 4 places: an appointment with the buyer specialist, an appointment with the loan partner, an appointment with the credit restoration partner, or they'll be put in the follow-up program. So next question is, so what I would like to do is to meet with you so I can coach you through the process to make sure that you get your home sold at the best price. Oh, wait. No, disregard that. And then you're going to make it, you're going to send them over after you've retrieved their contact information, their phone number, email address, and name. You're going to send over the information about brokerage services and the new home buyer questionnaire. And the what kind of buyer are you? So you sent over, going back to the process, you have the pre-qualification questions, and then you're going to prepare the following items: the initial buyer's consultation checklist, which is here, and all of this is found inside the Success in Real Estate machine. So how you explain the information about brokerage services form, and also to those, in case I'm gonna do it just in case you don't know where your information about brokerage services is. I'm gonna bring up how to get to it. I'm sorry, I stopped sharing. Okay, if you log into your HARP portal and you go into the tab My Account and you find the information about brokerage services here. And it will bring up your form completely filled out with the broker license number, the designated broker, and your information and license number. So you just download that and use that information. All right, so you share this information after you've had your pre-qualification over the phone or through a Zoom with the potential buyer or buyer lead, and you discuss how the information about brokerage services is Texas law requires all real estate license holders to give the information about brokerage services to prospective buyers, tenants, sellers, and landlords. So the main part on this is that as an agent for the buyer, the broker becomes a buyer agent by agreeing to represent the buyer, usually through a representation agreement, a written representation agreement. A buyer's agent must perform the broker's minimum duties above and must inform the buyer of any material information about the property or transaction known by the agent, including information disclosed to the agent or by the seller or seller's agent. So you're basically telling them that you're going to represent their best interest in the purchase of their home. You're not representing the seller. You're not representing the builder. You're representing them as the buyer. And you will do your fiduciary duties to represent their best interest and provide, professional, honest, and knowledge about the market, honesty, and have that trust built with your client. Because once they sign the client broker loyalty agreement, then we're in a written representation agreement where you represent their best interest, and they're hiring you to be their agent of choice. But this form is just stating that these are just the standard information about brokerage services. You will also send them this new home buyer questionnaire. They will fill out their information, how they hear about the company or you as an agent. And then they will answer these questions. From these questions, you'll know how much they know about the firm and how much more you can talk about the firm during that buyer consultation. You'll also understand how soon they're looking to buy a home or need to buy a home, their preferred price range, their least number of bedrooms and bathrooms, and the areas that they have of interest, the style of home, and how they just all these questions will help prepare your buyer consultation, because the more you know about them, the better you can prepare for the buyer consultation. And then you can be more specific on what they need, because not everybody is, say, a first-time home buyer, or not everyone is, you know, everyone will have will work in different industries. Everyone will have different living situations. So just asking these questions will help you better explain the buyer consultation to them and build that rapport with them. It's like you already know I guess say the major parts of this customer, and how it'll better prepare you to make them your client. This also lets you know, have they met with the lender to pre-qualify? I would like to know how much I would qualify to spend on a home. So this is kind of like determine their knowledge on, have they already done the legwork for getting pre-qualified? Do they know what pre-qualified means? And they said, I have a home I need to sell before I can purchase. So is it a 2-transaction client where you get to list and help them buy a home? The best time for me to view is, so you're figuring out their availability. And then some of their expectations. The most important qualities I'm looking for in my personal buyer partner are, and then they circle the things that apply to them and what they're looking for in a real estate agent. And then I'm aware that my buyer partner provides me with daily updates about new homes in the market that meet my purchase requirements, and I would like to receive these, yes or no. So you'll find out if some of the clients have already started looking on HAR or Zillow, other sites, or if you would like, or if they would like you to start sending them information. Next. Oh, sorry. Did somebody say something? Oh, did anybody have any questions?
No, not for me. Thank you.
No, you're doing a good job. You got it.
Thank you. Next, you would email them this. What kind of buyer are you? Are you an A, B, or C buyer? So at the Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, we want our motivation to match your motivation. And by completing this form, you will help us make sure that we can match your motivation. You want a buyer specialist who is active and really knows the market. All buyers don't have the same needs, and in order for our team to focus on your real estate needs, we must first determine your motivation or your readiness to buy. So sending this to them before your buyer consultation will let you know what kind of buyer are they. Are they A, B, or C buyer? High motivation, people who have to buy a home now and have either sold their existing home, transferred it to town, or their leases has expired. In many cases, this could potentially be homeless. So they're highly motivated. They need to find somewhere to live ASAP. Or B, medium motivation, people who are ready to buy, except they have to sell a home first, have a lease to fulfill, or in the stages of getting pre-approved. And then you have C, low motivation. People may buy a home when the right one comes along, yet typically not anytime soon. So their motivation or their choice of buying a home is kind of flexible. They're not in a hurry. And they're just probably maybe watching the market. So at this point, a buyer consultation may not be needed for a level C buyer. You can put them on a campaign. One moment.
So Dion, should you submit this first so you'll know exactly where they stand?
Yes, you can you can ask them this question, or you can email it to them for them to fill out prior to your buyer consultation. So when you after you have that pre-qualification script After you've gone through these questions, you can send them the IABS by email, this questionnaire, and this form, these 3 forms by email. Sometimes I like to do it by phone. But sometimes if I don't have the time, then I'll send it through email and have these questions, have this sent to me prior to doing the buyer consultation or the answers. And also what will help is sending doing a short Zoom. I like to do Zooms. I like to sometimes get them in front of me. So what I'm doing now with y'all is what you can do with them. You say, hey, you can explain the IABS, or you can do the pre-qualification questions with them by a Zoom meeting. You can explain the IABS, do the questionnaire, and find out what kind of buyer they are.
Okay.
So all this can be done through a quick Zoom or through a phone call, or you can email them this information and get them to return it to you kind of like within 24 hours. So you don't want to lose a potential buyer for not being proactive. So getting them on the phone, learning more about them and how motivated they are is kind of like locking them in. I wouldn't just say, oh, somebody like wants to buy a house and you just automatically just send them these 3 items. But okay, fill this out and get it back to me without knowing, without going through the script or knowing more information about them, you could lose them as a potential client. So it's always good to go through your script, follow up with the additional information that you need, and then just make sure that they understand what they're filling out or what they're signing. I just seen it in the past where people will just send these 3 documents and just say, hey, sign it and get it back to me without explaining what they're signing. So just, you got to come off as the expert. Make sure that that you are adding value, that you are explaining, because one of my clients' biggest pet peeve, if they're or have worked with a different realtor, they'll say they just told me to sign stuff that they didn't explain what I was signing. So it's always good and important to take time to explain what you're asking them to sign. But again, we're not attorneys. We're not, if you're not an attorney, we don't necessarily have to explain every single thing. If some things that they want more details, you can say, okay, well, you can have an attorney to look more into that. But for this, it's just kind of like standard information. This form, some people it's self-explanatory. They can read it themselves and understand exactly what you're saying. But just a quick, 30 seconds of just explaining real quick, what the IABS is, what the no home buyer questionnaire is for, and why you're sending the are you an A, B, or C buyer? Because we want to match their motivation. Also, the broker buyer service pledge. This is after, let me go back to the written processes. So we've sent over the questionnaire, the ABC buyer, and the broker service pledge. And then we have the client broker loyalty agreement. So this Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm is a full service real estate consulting company, and our clients come to us because of our expertise in all the aspects of real estate and our superb service. So TREC has a promulgated form, I think it's 5 pages, the buyer representation agreement. And we could use this form as Brooks & Davis. It's approved, and you can use the TREC form, or you can use this one. This one is shorter. And yeah. And it states our obligations as the broker agent and the client's obligations. So this is it states our specialties. We use the broker's best efforts to assist clients in acquiring property. And you can voice it in your words, like, hey, we will assist you in acquiring property in the preferred market area. I will assist you in negotiating the acquisition of property in the preferred market area. I will provide transaction management after selection of the property. And every 2 weeks, we will reevaluate your needs and expectations, and we will communicate with you at least once a week. And then as the client obligations, we want the client, if we, you're gonna be our client, we're gonna help you, I'm gonna be your buyer's agent. I want to work, you will work exclusively with me in acquiring the property and not another agent. We will negotiate the acquisition of a property in the market area only through the broker. So you won't go through a builder or another real estate agent. You will work solely with me or our company. And you will inform other brokers and salespersons, sellers, new home salesperson, landlords with whom whom you may have in contact with, that you are represented exclusively by Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. And then you will refer other brokers, salesperson, sellers, new home salesperson, and landlords with questions and concerns to me, your agent. And this agreement commences on and ends at this time. I sometimes, depending on the client, will do these for a year or 2 years. I think, I don't know if 1 year is the max, but yeah, I normally do 1 year or 2 years, depending if they're building, the house isn't going to be finished until like a year and a half or something like that, the construction. But I normally do 1 year. All right, so they signed the broker lawyer agreement and they returned, oh, and you went through, did I go over the pledge? All right, so you provided the broker service pledge. All of the above services are absolutely at no cost to you as a potential buyer. Upon signing a buyer-broker agreement with Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, we only ask for your loyalty and commitment to purchasing the property from our company. And you can go through, the pledge with them while you're doing the buyer consultation. Just letting you know that you'll keep their information private and confidential. You have access to home buyer and down payment assistance. So you're making yourself you're just letting them know what you provide. You're providing all, the services and then some. And it's at no cost to the buyer because the seller or the listing agent pays the buyer's agent. So when I talk to potential buyers, I always let them know that this is at no cost to you. You're having free representation, kind of like having an attorney. You go into court and you don't have to pay that attorney for representation. And we're representing your best interest to buy your home. And it's at no cost to you. It's not coming after closing costs. It's not coming out of your down payment. It is coming from the seller's proceeds, the buyer, or the listing agent. So 9 times out of 10, the fees are coming from the buyer, the builder, seller, or listing agent, not the buyer. All right. So we've gone over, the buyer next. You set that appointment for the buyer presentation. You find out they're a buyer or B buyer. So we're going to go ahead and have that full buyer presentation. And this is something that that you can, if you may already have it, it's in Breakthrough Broker. All real estate agents can download this buyer's roadmap for free through Breakthrough Broker. And there's many others that different sites offer, and I can show you those at a later time or send the links. But I like to go through this when I do my buyer consultation. I say, hell, okay, we've set the appointment. Now we're going to meet with, the first thing you're going to do is you're meeting with a real estate professional. And I was like, okay, this is me. And the buyer's advantage as a home buyer, your agent's commission is paid by the seller of the home in almost all circumstances. This means that your representation costs nothing to you. Number 2, get pre-approved. If they're already pre-approved, or if they need a preferred lender, then that's when you take the time out to send them to a pre-approval, a preferred lender. Number 3, search for homes. Number 4, and I just go through the whole roadmap of purchasing a home. And another item that Brooks and Davis offers is a PowerPoint presentation. And this is downloaded. Share. It's in skill set 4. And also a initial buyer consultation presentation is here for you to review. And then you can download this PowerPoint presentation. There we go. And you start your buyer presentation. And first thing you want your clients to know that because you want an educated buyer. You don't want an uninformed, uneducated buyer. So I do what I can to make sure that my client is informed. So understanding the market, salesperson versus a consultant. So I always explain to them, like, I consider myself a consultant. I'm a real estate consultant, not a salesperson. My whole goal is to help you find a house that meets your needs. And I'm just trying to sell your house so I can make a commission. I'm trying to meet your needs or your family needs or your real estate goals in the best time frame and price point that you want to be in. So I always say the difference between a salesperson and a consultant is that as a consultant, I can answer your questions in a paragraph, and a salesperson, they'll probably do it in a sentence. I'm not trying to sell you on something. I'm trying to educate you and make sure that you're making the purchase that's best for you and your family. So as a consultant, I'm going to give you things in detail and explain the process all the way through. Number 2, understanding the market. Is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? And you explain if it's and then you can ask them, hey, do you know if it's a buyer's market, seller's market, to see what they say, how they feel about that. And you explain the difference between a buyer's market and a seller's market. If a house is on the market less than, I think it's 6 months. One moment. How about, let's see. You don't mind we take like a quick 5-minute or 2-minute break?
Yeah, that's fine, Dion. Go ahead.
Nah, girl, keep working. I know breaks around here. Nah. Go ahead, Dion.
We're gonna take a brief intermission, guys, and we'll come back at 12:41.
Hey, I'm still on here too. If y'all got questions, y'all can ask me a question.
Hey, Mike, quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, it's been a seller's market for so long. I forgot. Is it 3 months or 6 months?
6 months.
6 months, like considers a buyer's market, right? Okay,
Yeah, 6 months. Typically.
typically, okay.
But here's the thing about buyers and sellers markets, because real estate is so hyper localized, you can actually have a manufactured buyer's market in a particular subdivision.
True.
You see what I'm saying? Depending on the
Yeah.
circumstances. So
Yeah.
overall, nationally and maybe even citywide or on a macro level, we're still in a seller's market, but you're probably going to have circumstances maybe in pockets where there's this fabricated buyer's market. There's so much inventory in that area for whatever reason that it's created a buyer's market. That makes sense?
Yeah, definitely. And I'll also explain to them that they said, well, if it's seller's market, is it a good time for me to buy? And I always say, well, okay, we can compare it to you renting, and you building
I
real
would-
estate.
Yeah, my response would be it's always a good time to buy.
Yeah,
Right?
always.
Reality is, oh, am I muted? I'm muted. No, I'm not muted.
No, I
All right,
can.
the reality is that, and I always do interest rates. They're always concerned about interest rates. Oh, the interest rates are going up. Well, the interest rate on rent is 100%.
True.
So, 100% zero equity. Like, I mean, that ain't never. Or they'll be like, well, home prices are so high. Well, all I know about buying real estate is it always appreciates. Rent, guess what? It don't never do. You build no equity in rent. So it's always a good time to buy.
Thank you. All right. Market condition and inventory. When listing inventory is down, or listing inventory is down at the moment. So when inventory is down, demand goes up. And when demand goes up, prices go up. So this is just you just letting them know about the market. Next, you will let them know pre-approved for your financing. The benefits to you as far as getting pre-approved, again, you don't start showing houses to a buyer unless they're pre-approved. They got your pre-approval letter or their proof of funds. And if they have their pre-approval letter, that turns them into a cash buyer. And it saves you money. It gives you leverage in a multiple offer situation. You're not just submitting an offer with no means to back up that offer. No guarantee that you are pre-approved to buy, your buyer's pre-approved to buy, or if they don't have the cash to buy. So in a multiple offer situation, you definitely need a pre-approval letter to purchase a house, be pre-approved for a loan, whether it be in a multiple offer situation or just an offer period. A lot of agents do not look at offers without a pre-approval letter or proof of funds letter attached to that offer. It lets the listing agent know or the seller know that you are a serious buyer and that you are qualified, your client is qualified to buy. And it gives you confidence. How do I get paid? All of my fees are paid by the seller. All brokers have, all of my fees are paid by the seller. All brokers have access to the same information. In regards to the MLS, so like on HAR, as soon as it's posted, all brokers have access to that same information and consumers as well. The biggest difference in brokers is the speed they can get you the information. So the Brooks and Davis model is why wait for them to do it tomorrow when we can do it today. I believe I said it correctly. So the biggest thing is knowing your market and knowing your client and what they're looking for. So Your consumer may have access to certain information that is, publicly shared, but you as an agent and being part of the hard MLS, you have access to a bit more information and more specifics about the history of the property that the consumer does not. And knowing that information can also give you leverage or be known as the expert on the property and why they go to you. For sell by owners, if the buyer sees it for sell by owner, call me first. Call you as the agent first. Why? For sell by owners, we'll pay my commission. They pay for an attorney or a real estate agent. So for sell by owners, and I've done that before, where a client of mine has said, "Hey, this house is on the MLS. You didn't email it to me, and I didn't find it on Hard Zillow or Realtor.com, but I was driving through the neighborhood and I seen it for sell by owner. I want to go take a look inside." So I asked them to take a picture of the sign of the house, send me the information, and then I contact the for sale by owner and negotiate my commission in the sale of the house. The biggest difference is, the difference between an attorney and a real estate agent is an attorney charges by the hour, where a real estate agent, we get paid if the house sells. So if the house doesn't sell, we don't get paid. Whereas if an attorney with a for sale by owner, then they still have to pay that attorney even if the house doesn't sell. Also, the new home builders and open houses. Builder pays all of my fees. So when you have a client that's going looking at houses, like, hey, we decided just to go, my mom was in town and we decided to go look at some new construction. When they go to the builder, the model homes or meeting with the builder, they do need to let them know that they are represented by you. If they have a card, they have your name, they fill out your name on the open house guest pass. It's very important that your clients put your name down when they visit the property for the first time if they're not with you. And also if they fill in the online new construction surveys, or they need to put you down as their agent of representation, as their buyer's agent. You use this, and the on-site salesperson will call you as the agent instead of calling you. So you always explain like you're an expert in the field. You know the terminology, you know the sales, you know how to talk to sales counselor, because you don't want your client signing a piece of document and they don't know what they're signing. So you have to get your clients to trust you and send you any information that they receive or don't, or actually just tell the sales people to call, hey, tell the salespeople to call me, not you. Give my information, not your information. Give my cell number, not your cell number. Just to make sure that your interests or your best interests are being represented. Because at the end of the day, the site salesperson, they work on behalf of the builder. They can't represent your best interests because they're hired, and they work on behalf of the sales counselor or site person. The benefit to you is representation. On-site salesperson represents the seller/builder. Shopping for your home. The average buyer looks at 5 homes before finding the right one. And I always give sometimes scenarios of how I had set up 3 houses one time, and my clients liked the very first house and didn't want to go see the other 2, and we were under contract for that first house. And then I've also been in a situation where I've showed over 60 houses. Never want to do that again, but I have done it in the past. But I don't bring that part up because I don't want them thinking I'm gonna show them 60 houses. But I always say, the average is 5. The most important key to finding the right home quickly is your feedback. So when we go and look at the houses, ask for my client's feedback. Like, how did you feel about this house? What do you rate it on and we also have a form where there's a property showing feedback form. The most important key to finding the right home quickly is your feedback. So if it's a client's telling you what they don't like or do like in a home, I can start narrowing down that search. So it saves us both time and gas money with client feedback. Shopping for your home. We have the MLS write-ups, printable maps. So these are all the information that you can send to your client just to show your expertise and how important it is for them to have representation. When they're already at this point, they should, well, at the end of this, it should be your client. The comparative market analysis, the CMA, you run a CMA on a property or area that they're interested in, property likes and dislikes. So when they decide to put in an offer, these are the things that you will do your research on and explain it to them about putting in an offer and how, you know, the terms of the offer should be written. No. What happened? Oh, I clicked on it. So I didn't know. Okay, so the property, it has the hyperlinks inside the presentation. So we go through the property, put the property address that we went. So we went on the buyer tour and I showed them 3 houses. So we put the property. What did you like about the house? What did you not like? What would you pay for this house and why? How would you rate this house on a 1 to 10 or finding your needs? And then you do that for the next property. The feedback that they give you will help you narrow down the house that they're looking for. My goodness. Oh. All right, purchase. So now we found the right home and we're going to go through the entire contract so they know when you find the right home, you can move quickly. So how quickly the market is today, it's important to not waste any time when submitting offers. The house could be listed at 9 a.m. and gone by noon. So going through the entire contract before you submit an offer is a great step to do with your clients, and it gives you the possibility to move quickly, where you can go and see a home and submit the offer within that hour. So your chances of being accepted increases. So going through the entire contract when you find the right home. So you don't want to say like you take a look at houses, they like the house, and then they're like, okay, later this evening, can you go over the contract with us? And then we'll be ready to submit the offer. The house could be gone by that time. And there's a video explaining the real estate contract, purchase contract. So you can, oh, Mike, are you there? Mike. Okay. I guess I just had a question. I know this video is in regards to real estate agents can watch this, but can they also share this with their client fee or no?
The video shows them how to walk through the documents of contract. It actually shows the contract. What it says.
But yeah, I mean, okay. So you can watch the video if you do have questions about explaining a contract. And then what I sometimes do is just, do a Zoom call, and I'll share my screen and just go over the purchase contract with my clients to make sure that they do understand what they're signing, and we move forward from there. Again, you always want educated buyers. All right, Earnest money. So when you're purchasing a house, there is a check you write with the offer. It will be cash when your offer is accepted. And the earnest money amount will be about 1 to 2% of the total offer price. So if a house is 200,000, the earnest money will be $2,000. So I was asked, hey, do you have $2,000 ready? If you want a $400,000 house, do you have $4,000 ready to put down as earnest money? And it will be held with title, the title company. All right, the inspection for your new home. The inspection is for major items only. Items such as they're gonna look at the structure of the home, the roof, the plumbing, electrical. They're gonna look at appliances. They're gonna look for water damage, anything that the major items. They're not looking for cosmetics such as, the carpet is dirty or the blind is missing or anything like that. It's mostly the major items for the home, the sprinkler system, the roof, the condition of the roof, the age of the roof, not the age, the condition. And then we also have a list of inspectors that we recommend. You do not have to be licensed to be a home inspector. So some buyers may have, hey, I have a father-in-law, or I have somebody that knows houses and they're going to do my inspection, and that's their choice. But you should always recommend that they have a licensed inspector to do their home inspection. Appraising your new home. The typical cost paid by a buyer is about $450 to $500 for an appraisal, and that they will pay that will go through their lender. Their lender will ask them to pay that while they're under contract for their home. And it's a set price. They won't overpay. And when do you pay? You pay right now. Pretty much most buyers will pay once their offer is accepted and they're out of the option period. They'll go ahead and pay for, the lender will ask them to go ahead and pay for the appraisal. Sometimes the appraisal is paid during the option period, but sometimes I communicate with my lender and let them know when, hey, option period is looking good. There's no major repairs. You can go ahead and order the appraisal. All right, so loan approval. The lender will let us know when we have a full loan commitment. And it's a reason to celebrate. We have a clear to close. That means the loan has gone through underwriting and it is fully approved. The house has appraised and we can go to closing. All of your time and efforts have paid off. Bring a cashier's check made payable to the title company for the down payment and the closing costs, and bring your driver's license or official photo ID. So this is what you're explaining, like the next step to the client. So you're kind of giving them the timeline of purchasing a home and what to expect. Sometimes they can wire, but again, there's other forms where you do the wire fraud information form as well. So the great thing about the Brooks and Davis real estate firm is that you're always working with a team or team specialists. The benefits are our knowledge, or my knowledge, availability, and communication. Let me go back. Went too fast. So if you're a new agent, you can always say you're working with a specialist, and you can always say that you work with a team. We're a team of professionals. You don't have to just say it's just you. And if they ask, like, how long you've been in the business, you can say my team and I have been or my team, we've been in the business for over 10 years, or, we sold over 200 homes last year. You don't have to mention that, hey, this is my first deal. This is my first purchase, first time helping, you just always can relate as being on a team. I was on a buyer consultation with someone yesterday. That's a new agent. And I said, just refer to me as part of your team. The benefits are knowledge, availability, and communication. So, as you're my client, we'll have, on my team, we'll have a buyer specialist, we have a marketing coordinator, we have the whole Brooks and Davis, real estate, firm, call coordinator, client care manager sellers, client care manager buyers, and courier. So we have a lot of different, let's say, parts or members of the Brooks and Davis real estate firm family that we use to help. One moment. Thanks. All right, the best thing about Brooks and Davis real estate firm and me as your buyer's agent is that we offer the best. Our goal is to give you the best price for the fewest hassles in the time frame that you desire. And the referrals, the lifeblood of our business. Who do you know? Work, friends, school, church, Twitter, that may be thinking of buying or selling. And when you call me, and I just close it with like, do you have any questions about the home buying process? Oh, and then I also go over the, let me make sure what screen is being shared. Okay. The home buyer upfront costs. So I always say sometimes there's 5 upfront costs when you're buying a home. You have the earnest money that is due within 3 days of an executed contract. You have the option fee check, which is due within 3 days of an executed contract. You have the property inspection fee and sometimes pest control fee, termite inspection, the appraisal fee, the survey if you're getting the property financed and the seller doesn't have a current survey. Sometimes they pass that cost on to the buyer. Sometimes the seller will pay for the survey. Sometimes they already have an existing survey that the lender can use. And then you have your closing costs and your down payment. So when I'm doing a buyer consultation, I go over these costs and I say, hey, okay, if you're buying a $200,000 house, you're gonna need at least 1% earnest money. So you're gonna need $2,000. The option fee, we're gonna do $200 for 8 days. So far that's 2,000 plus 200, that's $2,200 that you came out of pocket for before closing on a house. You've paid for an inspection fee, which is $400 estimated. And then the appraisal fee is $500. So that's 900 plus 200 plus 2,000. We're at 3,100 of out-of-pocket costs before you close on your home. And then the survey is it will be, in most cases, part of the closing costs, but there may be a fee for, say, $500 for a survey, and that will be part of your closing costs. Sometimes I do give scenarios in the home buying consultation, just to give them an idea of what closing costs and down payment looks like when you're purchasing a home. Does anyone have any questions so far?
Is all of these documents found in the link tree?
In the success,
Yes.
not this particular one, not this checklist, but all the other, this is Breakthrough Broker, but all the other, the client, they're all found in the Success in Real Estate Machine. Oh, yeah. All these are all found.
Okay.
Okay. So they're all found here. You see the buyer point presentation. That's what I just went over with the slides. What kind of buyer are you? The ABC buyer, the new home buyer questionnaire, the service pledge, the checklist, the initial buyer checklist, the client broker loyalty agreement, also known as the buyer representation agreement, and the IABS. And the written process for working with buyers. And this will be recorded. I know there's a question, and I think the link will be on the Brooks and Davis YouTube page. Yeah, the recording.
Yes,
All
we'll
right.
get it loaded onto the website, onto the YouTube page.
Okay. All right. As I there's a few more things that I do during the buyer consultation. Depending on the buyer, because every buyer is different. So I had made the mistake like years ago. I was so used to doing first time home buyer program consultations, and I didn't do like say that pre-qualification question, like what price range they were in, because that particular client was their income level was too high and they were looking, in the 600,000 range. So me doing buyer down payment assistance program during my buyer consultation, that was irrelevant to them because they wouldn't qualify for it. So having the client ask these questions and fill out the price range that they feel comfortable with and answer, so you'll know better how to cater your buyer consultation. Also wanted to ask what you do for a living. That's on this one. Say they're a police officer and you're like, okay, so during my buyer consultation, I can bring up T-Shack. It's a down payment assistance program for Texas Heroes. And it'll state what this Texas Heroes program is here to help teachers, veterans, police officers, correction officers, EMS. And so sometimes I'll have them go and fill out the eligibility quiz and give them, say that the DPA can be up to 5% of the loan amount and the MCC. So I'll go a little bit more in detail about this program. And I am a preferred agent in this program because I think I've been using this program for almost, 8 years. I think my first buyer was a teacher and used this program 8 years ago. And then I went to a training and I became on the list. So that this is something that you should do if you want to work with first-time home buyer, or even not even first-time home buyers, just police officers, teachers, veterans in this field, just so you have this knowledge. And it's at no cost to you to gain this knowledge and receive the education credit. All right, another thing that I like to use is this buyer calculation, just to let them know, especially if they've had an experience or just they were misinformed about where the costs come from, how down payment and closing costs, what they are, and how a down payment assistance program can help them. So this is a free app to use on your phone, or a program that you can log into. Mine is called Fidelity Agent One app. There's also Chicago one, there's Old Republic. It's just different title companies offer this free to potential clients. They target realtors because of course they want you to close at their title company. And you can just go to Agent One and sign up. So I go through, I take a 200 as the example as far as the home buyer upfront costs. I say, okay, well, you have a $200,000 house. You're gonna put 3.5% down. The interest rate is 4%, a 30-year term. And I just say, sometimes I say, okay, homeowners insurance is gonna be $1,500 a year. And the tax rate is 2.7. And we're gonna close a month from now. All right. So I say, okay, your monthly is gonna be estimated at $1,649. Again, I say I'm not a lender. I'm just doing this as an estimate, just to give an idea of where the fees are and on a range when you're thinking about, a price point. And I don't go too in detail about the lending part because I'm not their lender, but I always say, okay, these are your prepaid costs. This is an estimated, if you bought a house that was 200,000, they will want 14 months of insurance in escrow, 4 months of taxes, 30 days of interest. Oh, somebody about to ask a question? Okay.
No, sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. And because some people say, well, what are my closing costs? The buyer, like, what is closing costs? Like you say, I gotta bring down payment. I get, I'm putting 3.5% down of 200,000. That's the $7,000. But why do I have to bring $13,780 to closing? And you're like, okay, well, you have fixed costs and you have prepaid costs. So the prepaid cost is what the lender requires, or you finance a home. They want you to have 14 months of interest in escrow or in an account, 4 months of taxes, 30 days of interest, and this is your total prepaids. So if you're financing a home, they're always going to have this 14 months, the prepaid costs. Then you have the fixed costs, which is title fees. So when you're having a closing at a title company, there are fees to the buyer. There's lender fees. Again, these lender fees are just estimated, they're lower. Once you connect with them, with the lender, you'll go over a closing estimate with your buyer, and you'll find out what the lender origination fees are. If they're using a down payment assistance program, sometimes the origination fee will be changed here or different. This is just an example. And then they have a recording fee. They also include the appraisal fee, credit report fee, lender fees. So you say, okay, these are your total fixed costs from the title company, the lender, and other fees. So you have that $2,587 added to the prepaid cost, and that's how you have your total closing cost of $6,780. And you have your principal and interest, your homeowner's insurance, your property taxes, and your mortgage insurance premium. So you can let them know if you don't put 20% down, then your mortgage insurance premium, then you will have mortgage insurance premium. Now, there are certain loan programs that may be offered from different banks or credit unions. Well, they'll remove that mortgage insurance premium, and you didn't have to put 20% down. But I don't go necessarily all in detail about different programs like NACA. There's a whole lot of other different, the city of Houston, it's different loan programs, and that would take quite a bit of time. So first I send them out to my lender, a qualified for a lender that is qualified for down payment assistance programs, or to let them know what they're interested in, and what industry they're in, what's their price point or income per year, just to see what they would qualify for. So you don't want to go all in detail about the different programs if you don't know what their debts and assets, look like on the lender standpoint. So always send them to the lender. I do this just as an example of what to look for when they're purchasing a house, and they learn the terminology of fixed costs, prepaid costs, and down payment. So when we do get to the closing table, I have an educated buyer. Before we even get to the closing table, I have an educated buyer. They're not caught off guard. They're properly informed, and they trust me as an agent. Because when I go through this, a lot of buyers, they said, well, I had another realtor. They didn't show me none of this. Like, I didn't know, what to expect. I'm going to choose you because you inform me about the whole process. I trust you because you seem like you're the expert in the field. So I wouldn't say if you haven't used this system yet, don't use it for the first time with a client. Like, practice it with yourself. Like, practice, do scenarios. And then once you feel comfortable doing it, then you can bring it up in a buyer consultation. All right. Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I appreciate the information, though. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you, Dion. That was great information. A lot of information I needed to hear. So I really appreciate you taking your time out sharing.
You're welcome. Is there anything anybody wants me to go back over?
Dion, I have a question.
Yes.
I started to ask a question a few minutes ago, but you actually just answered it when you talked about the lender and the different programs, because sometimes you do want to give your client all the information they need. And so when you refer them to a lender, does the lender go all over all those different programs to see what they qualify for? For instance, say like if they are as a teacher and they qualify for a down payment assistance, does the lender automatically go over those with them?
It depends on a lender. Some lender will, but then you may have to say, hey, you may have to just probe that lender. But hey, they qualify. They mentioned to me that they were interested in DPA.
Right.
Do they qualify? Do you know of any DPAs that they qualify for?
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
It's not guaranteed that the lender would be like, okay, automatically assume that they want a DPA. If they didn't tell them and you didn't tell them, then not all lenders will automatically say, okay, yeah, let me offer this DPA to them.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you. Great information.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dion.
You're welcome. Any questions?
I don't have any.
All right. If there's no other questions, we can go ahead and end. I am making a checklist. I don't know if y'all see my checklist I'll be making all the time, but I'm making a buyer lead checklist. Mike, you have?
No, I think you did an excellent job, Dion. The only thing that I would want to remind you all of is this will be recorded. It's gonna be on the YouTube channel by next week. And then I know you all was able to see Dion do the presentation Also on our website, we have Margaret doing the presentation as well. So you can see just different styles of doing the presentation. But I'm glad that everybody was on here, that this is the kind of information, the kind of training that, you know, a lot of y'all, when y'all come to me, y'all talking to me, and it's like, you know, y'all just want to feel more confident when talking to clients. Well, outside of doing buyer consultations, which is really going to fuel your confidence, attending these events, having conversations with myself and Dion and some of the other agents that are still in the business, still actively working with people, that'll help you with the confidence. And then knowing where to go when, how to prep yourselves and prepare yourselves when you're going to, you know, meet with these clients. So we just want to continue to provide these layers of support around you guys. If you need anything, I'm easy to find. I tell y'all that all the time. I do need to see more people on my coaching calendar, right? So for you all that have not scheduled y'all coaching sessions, as soon as y'all hang up here, go to the link. I want to see you guys on my calendar because that's a key to what we provide at Brooks and Davis to help you all get to the next level. And I want to make sure you all are taking advantage of it. So other than that, Dion, great job. If y'all have any questions, let me know.
All right, thank you, Mike. If there's no other questions, we're gonna go ahead and end today.
Alrighty. Thank you guys for attending. Thank you, Dion, for presenting. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You have a good day as well.
Thank you.